Item number 16. I have an online speaker. Mr. Langley, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Durham City Council, Manager Page. First, I would like to thank you all for your diligent work on this budget. I know that you all had some tough decisions to make, and you all had some deliberate conversations. I want to again raise something that our police chief said during one of you all's sessions, where she said we recognize that our kids and some of the most affected are not exposed to a world that shows them they can be better and be in a better place than they currently are. They will turn around and potentially be our next victims or grow up to offend in our society. And that was particularly interesting because this weekend I ended up going down the rabbit hole looking at a student that I met 2 years ago. I kept reaching out to this young man. He was interested in football, and I was trying to get him to consider and explore some other options just in case football did not work out. Well, fast forward 2 years from graduating from Hillside High School, and now he's charged with a murder that occurred in Mooresville. And so it took me to another comment that our police chief most recently said, which was urging parents to keep their children in things that are constructive, things that are impactful. And as you all are fully aware, we just had a manufacturing company relocate to Durham offering salaries of jobs of $128,000 a year. In some research, I found that Durham has the highest of all 100 counties in the state, the highest average annual private sector salary in the state of $90,727. As Frederick Douglass once said, it is far easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Rather than us trying to pry guns out of the hands of folks, let's do what we can to disincentivize them picking up guns in the first place by providing meaningful, impactful, and intentional services that help our residents, particularly our youth, explore, develop the skills, and connect with the growing opportunities in this community. I realize it is too late to get funding through this budget, but I will continue to reach out to you, each one of you, in an effort to get support so that we can see better outcomes, particularly for our boys and young men of color. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Langley. Colleagues, that was 16. No, that was 19, right? No, that was 16. Do I have to read all of that?
No, no. So if you're ready to call the vote, you could just say, I'll entertain a motion and read this sentence as printed in the agenda or as indicated in the printed agenda.
Okay.
You don't have to read all the paragraphs.
Wow, good. All right, colleagues, no. This is a lot.
Your faces. I want you to read it all.
Colleagues, at this time, I here we go. Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget and 2025-2030 capital improvement plan CIP ordinance and other related ordinances.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded.
Mayor, could we say a couple words?
Say again?
Do we say, I thought we had to move and then spoke and then vote. Do we say words after we vote?
I mean, it will be now in the motion. Now.
Can I just say a couple of quick
discussion? It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you. I just want to say that, and y'all heard me talk about it earlier, that I do think that this budget gets us on the way of where we want to go. I want to acknowledge that many city employees have come to us asking to be made whole. And at the end of the day, I think we have done a really excellent job of addressing almost all of those concerns. But I do just want to say that I have a little bit of heartache over, I don't feel that our sanitation workers all feel that they were made whole in this budget. I think it's a great budget, and I think it's going in the right direction, but I'm excited to see us continue to push for that department, and also to have a really meaningful conversation of what it means to have a living wage in this city and how we calculate that moving forward. So those are my only comments. Thank you, manager, for an excellent budget and for making my first budget season only have one public comment. Incredible. Thank you so much.
Are there any other comments?
I would just say, I would like to call into the room former Mayor O'Neill and former Councilmember Hyman, and the work that we were set into motion last year to do, and just appreciate that we're here now and actually doing the heavy lift of paying those workers that we value. And I think Councilmember Cook highlighted that. I feel as well that our sanitation workers in the design phase of things, we've got to do a better job at designing the study so that it actually reflects our values. That's all. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yep. Go ahead. Baker, are you good?
Sure. Appreciate, I want to thank the city manager for her work on this. I second some of the comments of Councilmember Cook. I don't think this budget reflects the budget that any individual up here would have created, but I do think that it does a phenomenal job of taking a lot of complicated views up here and creating one single document that reflects the values of all of us. And so I want to acknowledge that that's an incredibly challenging job, and this budget does raise property taxes, and it does so for a very, very good reason that many people have come forward and requested. And so there are some things, it's not exactly the budget that I would have created. It's not the budget I think that any individual would have created, but I do think that it reflects the budget that accurately reflects this council. So thanks for all the work that you and your office has done in putting this together.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, colleagues, for a really, really great, challenging, I think, history-making budget process. I want to honor every voice on this dais that brought passion and concerns to this process. We didn't all get everything we wanted, but it's been said oftentimes that, a budget is really a statement of morality. It's a value statement. And I want to congratulate you, Madam Manager, and your staff and the Finance Department for giving us a document that if we weren't in the room to defend and folk read it, they'd know some things about Durham. They'd know about our commitment to Vision Zero. They'd know about our commitment to our immigrant community. There's money in this budget for brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community to assist them in getting name changes. There's $10 million, alas, for the Fayetteville Street Corridor. Durham will now be one of a few American cities that has made a significant, much like the Marshall Plan after World War II, significant contribution towards addressing historic disinvestment. There's money in here for guaranteed income, our commitment to guaranteed income in this budget. There's money in here that significantly raises our employees' salaries, which will, after a little bit of research, once again put Durham at the top of the heap in terms of compensation in a number of areas amongst our peer cities. That's also going to put a bullseye on us, so the arms race will continue. I fully expect our sister cities to look at this budget and try and outdo us, and then we'll come back again and take a look. But when all is said and done, with all of the pulling and pushing, with all of the give and take, this is a budget, I think, Madam Manager, that we can be proud of. And it is a budget for a year. The conversation continues. The push continues. The give and take continues. That's the beauty of our city and beauty of our democracy. It is a never-ending conversation. Never a period, never an exclamation point, always a comma to be continued. I'm very proud to cast a vote for this budget. I'm going to thank my colleagues, and to Councilmember Freeman's point, present and past, who have poured into this budget and who have reshaped and recontoured our city to look more like who we are and to bring us closer to being a better city. So I look forward to voting for this budget. Congratulations, Madam Manager, and to your entire team. I know the entire city is grateful to you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. I'll just say, joining my new colleagues on the city council, Councilmembers Baker and Cook, this is my first budget. I also can't thank the manager and her staff enough for the amazing job they've done. There's a lot of input you will receive from the council members, from the community. In addition to the comments that my colleague, Council Middleton, shared, I'm also excited that we continue fare-free buses in Durham. It's a big win in the budget. Staff salaries was the biggest objective coming into this budget season, and we have addressed that. I join my colleague, Councilmember Middleton, in being really excited about $1 million for guaranteed income. It's another big win in the budget. It's a win for the citizens of Durham. We've heard what you've said about our community, what our needs are, and we've tried to respond. And so I'm excited to vote for this budget. And I couldn't be more excited as my first budget as a council member to pass this budget. So thank you all.
Councilmember Caballero?
I just really
something.
want to vote. My joke is I think I probably say the least up here. This is my 7th budget. I think this is also Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Freeman's 7th budget. We're the old people up here. Even seasoned. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. This is definitely the hardest budget, except maybe the year that COVID hit. Not because that budget was hard, just because that year was just very unknown. We didn't know what to anticipate. ARPA had not passed. We didn't know what the federal government was going to do, so there was a lot of angst, quite frankly, of what was going to happen to our city. And I just want to congratulate. I wanted to wait until we voted because I wanted to make sure it was unanimous before I opened my mouth. This was a really, really hard budget, and every single one of us should be proud of ourselves. We should be very proud of our staff. This was a challenging year. We knew sales tax wasn't going to come in as high as it's been coming in. We knew that our city workers deserved big increases, and we knew that that was going to be a tax increase. We started broadcasting that last year when we passed a very contentious budget last year, a budget that was a 4-3 vote. So I just want to say thank you to my colleagues. We've done a really good job. I think we've done a really excellent job listening to one another. To Councilmember Cook's point earlier in her comments at the beginning, I think the reason this budget is so excellent is because we took the time to have conversations with each other consistently throughout the process. All of us did. And so if we want things to be different, if we're upset about other votes or we're upset about how other things have gone, I think that that's the map forward. If you want something to be different, you want to understand how a colleague's voting, maybe you're not going to agree. But if you don't do the work to have the conversation and really figure out where's the consensus point, and you're not always going to get your way, that is being an adult. An adult means you're not going to get your way. I have 3 kids, I say it all the time. Welcome to adulting. Adulting means compromise. Adulting means knowing when you're not going to get your way and when you're just going to have to be okay with not getting your way and, getting up the next day and doing the work again. And that is what we are elected to do in these seats. We are elected to get up every day and try our best for this city, and sometimes we're going to fall flat on our faces, and that doesn't matter because the next day we got to get up and do it again. And I know that every single person who works for this city, not just those of us who are elected, they do that too. They get up every day and they serve this community. And they're going to get a big old fat paycheck increase in July, and they've deserved it. And I know that that costs residents. I know it's a property tax increase. All of us live in the city of Durham. We're all going to face that same tax increase as residents. So thank you again to staff. This is an incredible budget and a really, really hard one. So it's not lost on me what this is going to cost residents on their property tax bill. But I'm proud of us, and I'm proud of this thing that we're about to vote for unanimously. And I'm looking at Councilmember Freeman when I say that. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. I got to say, last year it was about 200 people in this room and in the lobby, and there was screaming and shouting, and it was very contentious. But I reiterate the words I said earlier and what Councilmember Caballero just stated. Communication is key. We just have to communicate with one another. I got a haircut today, and while I was in the barber chair, I was on the phone with Councilmember Cook. And I was like, yep, that's what the buzzing noise was. I was just, we don't always agree, and I mean, sometimes I leave this dais, I am fuming. But after a glass of bourbon and some time, I wake up the next morning and I'm fine. Okay, scratch that from the record. Water, yeah. It's not, this is not an easy job, and, we hear folks call in, you should see some of the emails we get, and the way folks talk to us, I get in trouble sometimes because if I just have a moment to respond and I'm a little bored, I do it when I shouldn't. But, this is a very hard job, and I've said that over and over again. But I just really appreciate doing this work with you all on this dais. We are a mixed bag of thoughts, beliefs, ideals, and yet we come together. This budget, I think Councilmember Baker said it, it's not the ideal budget that any one of us individually would have created. Mayor Pro Tem stated a lot of the highlights in it. I am still, I'm still not happy with the fact that, I don't feel that we're responding to the resident survey of more public safety, and what that looks like. It was the #1 resident response, and I don't think we addressed it at all. We found ways not to. I don't want to get in all I don't want to relitigate anything, but it's just not perfect. But there are a lot. It definitely the positives outweigh the negatives in this budget by far. And while it's not going to be perfect, I didn't get everything I wanted. But I got enough that makes me feel good about where we are. And I also want you all to keep in mind that the county, they had to raise taxes too. They 3.5 cents last year, 4.6 cents this year. I kept that in mind as well, knowing that we haven't raised taxes since 2019. So this was a hard decision to make. Not everybody got everything they wanted or requested, but I also want to say, and this hasn't been said, but I want to thank the groups who've come, the organizing groups who've come and asked on behalf of just the general public and wanting more funding for something that's going to be a general public good. Like guaranteed income, we put $1 million in the budget for, but it was being requested an additional $200,000. But I mean, the fact that they said, okay, look, we understand what you all are saying. We understand the budget is tight. We'll take the win. We'll take this at, $1 million. At least we'll still be able to help some families. I appreciate everyone compromising. And it makes me feel good that as mayor, this is my first budget as mayor, and I hope we have a unanimous budget tonight. But guys, it's not perfect, but it's definitely better than, better than what it could have been. So yes, taxes are going to go up. It's going to go up because we value our employees. And that is still 2,700 employees out of 300,000 people. So we're sending a signal where we stand as a government, and hopefully others will follow suit. We talk about the design of the positions. Well, this class income did not address design. So we're not going to be able to redesign positions, but we did do the pay study, the market study, and I'm glad to say that we're giving our employees a significant raise. So, colleagues, I'm grateful for each of you. We don't always agree, but I'm glad to do this with you. All right. So with that being said, can't believe that this doesn't even feel right, but it is. I've already called it's been moved and properly seconded, so I'm now calling for the question. Madam Clerk, will you please open the vote? And everyone vote yes. All right, please close the vote. It's never taken this long to come on the screen. You see?
And the motion passes unanimously.
The City of Durham has passed its budget.